Hi friends! So I am back again to recap my knitting this month. So welcome to my March knitting recap. I will just get right into it. I don't have any finished objects this month, which I was kind of bummed about, and I kind of was really trying to finish something just so I could show it on my recap video, but that just wasn't in the cards this month. So yeah, no finished projects this month. Wah wah. But I did make a lot of progress even though I did not finish anything. So I will get into what I was working on this month. Look at my notes over here. Oh, hi Maisie. First off, we'll get into what I was working on the most this month, and I have the most progress on, which is my Amy sweater. It is getting so close to being done. I started this project January 31st, and I was really wanting to finish it by March 31st. That did not happen, but I finished the ribbing of on the body, which took almost, I think it took as long as it took to knit the body of the sweater to knit this ribbing. I don't know why it took me an age to knit the ribbing on the sweater, but it just did. And then I got one sleeve done. And I just really like the 2x2 ribbing and the rolled, like, knit, sorry, my face keeps getting focused on, the rolled knit edge, like, so there's like knitting a few rows and then you cast off, and it kind of rolls the hem of the sleeve and the body of the sweater, and I really like that feature. And so as you can see right now where I'm at is I am working on finishing that second sleeve. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the decrease rounds or decrease repeats done. So for my size I have 2 more left. And then I will start on the ribbing, and then I will do the neckline, which I'm having a bit of a dilemma about what to do for the neckline, because I feel like I would wear the sweater more if it was not the turtleneck, rolled turtleneck that comes in the design. I might wear it more if it was like a mock neck. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do there. I might have to look on Ravelry on some of the like project pages to see if anyone else has done a different neckline. I know that this neckline is kind of one of the main reasons that people knit this sweater. So it might be something where I have to experiment and try knitting it the mock neck version, or maybe try knitting it the full turtleneck, and then if I don't like it, rip it out and then maybe cast off, like rip back and then cast off at a length that I like. I haven't decided yet, but if you have any thoughts or opinions about that, please let me know. Sorry, I'm dealing with a little bit of seasonal allergies, so if I'm sniffly, sorry about that. Okay, yep, so that's the Amy sweater. I'm knitting size 4, and yeah, which it's a 4mm needle, DK weight sweater. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm knitting, the yarn that I'm using is Valley Yarns Northampton in Chestnut Heather, and it's just a really deep brown. And if you've seen any of my other videos, then you've seen me talk about it already. But yeah, that's that. That's my progress. So I'm hoping, I really want to get this cast off like and then do the neck and cast it off and just get it done. Like, I just really want to have this sweater, so maybe I can wear it one time before it gets really warm. Yeah, so we'll see. Hopefully I can get it done in the next few days. Okay, the next thing that I worked on this month was the pair of socks that I'm knitting for my husband. And I just need to cast these socks off, or this sock, and be done. I wanted to try it on his foot one more time before I cast it off, just to make sure that the length is long enough. But, so I think that's what's keeping me from casting it off. Because if I needed to add like a couple more centimeters of length to the sock, then I can, because I bought a whole extra ball of the Patent Croy sock yarn that I'm using to knit this sock in. So I'll show you. Focus, see, it has such nice stripes. I really like the self-striping yarn. Yeah, it's not the softest sock yarn, but in the pairs of socks that I've made, it's my favorite yarn because it just holds up really well. And I don't find it itchy, so I'm hoping that he doesn't either. My husband's birthday is this month, and so I kind of really want to try and finish it before his birthday, which means that I would have to knit a whole other sock in the next like 5 days. So I don't know if that's gonna happen, but at least I want to finish them this month. Like, they just need to be off my needles. I have other socks that I want to cast on for myself. So yeah, I need to cast the other sock on and just like get it done. This is a project that's just kind of been hanging around at this point for too long. I want to finish them and be done with it. Oh, and this pattern. So this pattern is the Ribrib sock pattern by James N. Watts. And what size needles? I think this is like a size 0. Yeah, 2mm, size 0. It's a 2x2 rib. Yeah, and I really like this pattern a lot. This is the second time I'm knitting it, and no complaints. Only good things to say about it. Yeah, and so I've got the other ball of sock yarn here. It's Patent Croy sock yarn. Oops, upside down. That I got at Michael's. The next project that I worked on this month was my Berlin scarf. Is my project that I work on while I watch The Bachelor with my neighbor friends. And if anyone else watches The Bachelor, then you know that Grant's season has come to a close. And I said in another video, it's like, perhaps Grant will find love on this season, and I will find my sweater, or my scarf. I'll have my scarf at the end of this. But I did not finish the scarf in the time when I was knitting. I mean, it's getting really long, which is great, but it's not done. So it's almost, I think it's almost to the right length, and then I'll start knitting the tassels, which I'm excited to do. But yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna work on this now, because it was my kind of project that I worked on, kind of a mindless project that I could knit on while watching The Bachelor. So I don't know when I will get around to finishing. I don't like need this to be finished as soon as possible. It's kind of a background project, but I am excited for it to be done. I think it will be really nice this fall to wear. So yeah, that's that. My neighbor wanted me to teach her how to knit, and so we're knitting these scarves together. She is knitting one, but she is knitting hers quite a bit slower than I am. So she's, I think, only like 2 balls in to the project, and a little bit discouraged, and I feel bad because I think I should have started her off maybe with like a shorter project, because you get that like instant gratification and you kind of get the knitting bug, I guess, and I feel like I missed an opportunity there. But I'm just encouraging her. I'm like, you can do it, keep knitting. And then maybe we will, maybe I'll help her knit a hat or something, so that she can get that knitting bug. Yeah, that's the Berlin scarf by Paula Strict. I'm using, what yarn am I using? I'm using this Cloudpaca yarn, which is a Joann's yarn, RIP to Joann's, or Joann Fabrics. Yeah, I really like it. The yarn is 28% polyamide, 14% merino wool, 58% baby alpaca. So it's just like the squishiest, softest yarn. And yeah, I really like knitting with it. It is a little bit snaggy when I'm knitting, because there's the little extra fluffy fibers get caught, you know, and you kind of have to rip it a little bit. But I feel like with blown yarns, that's kind of the case. It can be a little harder to knit with. And another reason why I feel a little bad about picking this project for my neighbor who's a new knitter, because I feel like it's not the most pleasant experience to knit with. I mean, it feels wonderful, but just the snagging, I feel it can be frustrating. That's that. And I have, I think, 2 more balls of this yarn. And I think the tassels take 1 full 50-gram skein. So I think I have maybe 1 more ball to knit on the length of the scarf, and then I will start on the tassels. I might leave a little extra just in case the tassels take longer. Yeah, and that's that on that. Next is a new project that I don't know if I talked about in my last video. I definitely hadn't started it in my last video, but I had gotten the yarn for this project last month. And I also got this fun little leather bag at a thrift store. And it definitely smells very strongly of leather. But it has like a nice square flat bottom on it, and then it opens kind of like that, which is nice for when I'm knitting. Yeah, so I'm using it as a project bag right now, but this project will quickly outgrow this carrying, like, this project bag. Anyway, so this is the Hairst jumper by Katt Weaver, and it's a sweater that she had published in, she had it published, and then it released on Ravelry recently, I believe, and maybe this year or end of last year. So when I saw it in one of her videos, I just loved it so much, and so I am knitting it in my Briggs & Little Regal purple yarn. And so this is a sweater that is knit bottom up, and it has this really pretty scalloped lace edge on the bottom, and so that is what I am working on right now. Yeah, so I'm following a chart for the bottom, and I really have paused on this project just because I had some I really wanted to cast something new on, and I really was inspired to cast on this sweater. I really wanted to get started on it because I had the yarn and I had the pattern, and so I just wanted something other than the Amy sweater. I was a little bored of the stockinette. I was either having like 2x2 rib or stockinette to knit on, and that was it. That was the only, so I just wanted something more interesting to work on, and this is definitely more interesting. It's been super fun to watch the lace pattern emerge from just following the chart. I'm not someone who can look at a chart and translate it visually into what that's gonna look like knit up. It kind of confuses me still. I'm newer to knitting from a chart. I've done it plenty of times, but usually there are more simple charts, and I haven't knit a ton of lace. So yeah, it's been really fun. Casting on for this sweater took me about 8 or 9 times to get it fully cast on, and I have a really long tail. I think I ended up cutting it, yeah, because it was too much to just keep track of, like going around and around with this really long tail. Yeah, because you know, you're knitting bottom up, which I've never done before, so you have to cast on like a redacted amount of stitches, but that redacted amount is just like, it's so many stitches to cast on. So it took me a whole evening to get it cast on, and then it's been slow going knitting the lace, but really fun. Yeah, so yeah, I can show you the yarn. It's Briggs & Little Regal, and I didn't gauge swatch. I might go back and do like a gauge swatch now, just to make sure that, you know, if I am off, I want to know maybe by how much, one way or the other. Or sorry, it's not Regal, it's Briggs & Little Heritage. I'm sorry, I've been saying Regal this whole time. Briggs & Little Heritage yeah, Briggs & Little Heritage in the color Mulberry. Yeah, I'll show it again. I feel like this color is not getting picked up. I guess that's a little closer. It's a really difficult color to read on the camera because it's this really deep purple and it has a lot of blue in it. It's so pretty. Yeah, so anyway, that's going on that. So and the needles are bigger. They're larger needles, so it's honestly a little bit of a nice change because I feel like everything I've been knitting on is like size 4mm needles or lower. So this is 5mm needles, which makes a big difference. And yep, that is the Hairst jumper by Katt Weaver. Okay, so acquisitions. I didn't buy any yarn this month, which is fine. I don't need to buy yarn. I just bought yarn last month, and I have a lot of projects to be working on to keep me busy. But I did get a spinning wheel. That is my big acquisition of this month, and I'm just so stoked to have it. It's so fun so far. So kind of the background and story about how I got the spinning wheel. My old job that I had, my art director and I had connected over our common interest, which was knitting and fiber arts. I kind of was really getting back into knitting and knitting my first sweater when I worked at that job, when I had downtime. And now that I no longer work there, I still keep in touch and work with, sorry, my cats are fighting, but I still keep in touch with my art director, and she reached out to me because we were working on a project together, and she reached out to me and asked if I was interested in buying her spinning wheel. At the time, I think I was freshly postpartum and I was not really interested in picking up any new hobbies. I couldn't even knit at that point. My brain was still complete mush, and so I was like, no, not really interested. And then last September, when I started using the drop spindle and getting more interested in spinning, I reached back out to her at the end of the year, probably in December, and just said, hey, do you still have your spinning wheel? If you do have it, I would be interested in buying it now since I've started getting into spinning. And she did have it, and she said, yes, let's coordinate a time for you to come see it and try it out. And so finally, this month we kind of coordinated. We got our schedules lined up to where I could drive down to see her. She lives about an hour from me. And I got to go visit and see her home. I'd never been there before. And she had taken a fiber arts course at the local college in the 80s. And she had bought the spinning wheel kit in the 80s and built it herself. So a little bit about the spinning wheel, and I'll insert some B-roll. The spinning wheel is a Louette S17 that she got as a kit and ordered it, which I think it came from Sweden. I need to double check that, but yeah, so she assembled this, and it's definitely older. It's from the 80s. If you see newer models, they look different. They have more plastic parts. The bobbins look different. But I like that this is, you know, primarily all wood and metal, and it's very sturdy. It's in great condition, really, from like, she took pretty amazing care of it for it to just still be working well, and it looks great, and it being from the 80s. And yeah, she showed me how to use it. We kind of sat down. I was there probably about an hour, chatting and trying to figure it out. And by the end of our time trying to figure it out, I had picked it up, and so I knew, like, okay, when I get home I can practice. And I had some hope of learning on my own, essentially, after she had given me a little bit of a tutorial on how to use a spinning wheel. But yeah, it's a single treadle, and yeah, she hand sanded the bobbins. One of them isn't sanded yet, so I have to do that so that I can ply the yarn. I don't think she ever plied any of her yarn. When she showed me, she pulled everything out, and she had in a sealed bag, she had all of this fiber she had carded and dyed in her course from the 80s, and it was all separated between different pieces of newspaper from the 80s, and it was like there was a bunch of mothballs in with the fiber, and so that was like a smell I had never experienced at that full force. That was like, whoo, took me back. And so the first thing I did when I got back was I took all the fiber out of the newspaper and kind of rolled it into little bats and stuck it in Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer just in case of any moths, and threw the mothballs away because I could not handle that smell. Driving home, I started getting such a bad headache because of the mothball smell was just like filling the car. So if I couldn't stand it, I'm hoping that no moths could stand it either, and they just didn't get into the fiber. But yeah, so I have all of this fiber that I can practice with, and I have a couple other bats of fiber that I'm working on spinning up as well. And one of them is the green fiber that I got last month at the thrift store for $6. It's like a really long braid of fiber. It's 4 ounces, and originally it was $20. I got it for $6. And I was having a really hard time getting it started on the wheel, and I think that's just kind of a common, like, it's difficult to get it started, get the spin right, get the twist right, and so it sticks and it doesn't pull apart. I think the staple length on this fiber is shorter than the Icelandic fiber that I was spinning on my drop spindle, and so yeah, so it's just a little different, a little bit of a learning curve there to get it started. And then on one of the bobbins, she left a bunch of fiber that she was previously spinning, I guess. That's Angora and silk, I believe. And it's a really pretty fiber. It's already been spun though, and it's she was spinning it really thick, and that wouldn't really be my preference. So I don't know if I can kind of reclaim it in any way. I don't know what that process would look like. If anybody has any experience with spinning and like can you reclaim like fiber that you've previously spun? Like can you card it back out and then respin it, or is it kind of at that point not ruined, but can you not go back? I don't know. So I have a lot of learning to do as far as spinning goes, but it's always exciting to start a new craft, and so that kind of took not a lot of my time this month, but it was definitely like a distraction from getting knitting done and, you know, finishing projects. Yeah, I can show you the bobbins that I have right now. So this is that Angora and silk fiber. If you can see, up here was where I was practicing spinning, and so I was spinning this a lot thinner up here, and then this was what she had previously done. This like thicker spun fiber here. Oh, there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. Yep, and then in the B-roll, you would have seen the green fiber that I'm spinning. And so I'm assuming that's going to come out kind of like a worsted weight is my guess when it's plied up. But maybe I'll leave it as a single. I don't know. Because I think if I wanted to ply all of it, I would need to finish sanding the other bobbin, and I don't know when I'm going to have time to do that. But anyway, I should probably make that a priority so I can ply using the wheel. But yeah, that has been my big acquisition of the month, and I'm really excited about it. Everyone that I told about the wheel was like, oh, are you Rumpelstiltskin now? Are you gonna be spinning whatever into gold? And I was like, I don't even like associate like spinning with Rumpelstiltskin. Like I didn't even think about that. And so it's just funny that like 3 people I told that I got a spinning wheel made that same comment, and I just thought it was funny. Yeah, so if you're a spinner, has anyone called you Rumpelstiltskin? Just wondering. Yeah, I guess now I will talk about what I read this month. So what I read this month, I read 2 books. The first was for my book club, and it was Finding Salvation in a Dairy Queen Parking Lot. I think that's the title. Hang on, I'm gonna make sure that's actually what the book is called. Okay, sorry, my camera was stopped recording. But, okay, back to what I was saying. So the title of the book is Looking for Salvation at the Dairy Queen. And, yeah, Looking for Salvation at the Dairy Queen. And it was really good. It was a great book. It was about a young girl and her sister, and they lost their mom at a young age, and she grew up with a single dad who was the town's pastor, and she just wants to leave her little town and go to the big city. And yes, so the first half of the book was all about her growing up in the little town, and then she leaves finally, and then things start happening back home and she has to come back, and twists and turns. There's lots of things that you don't see coming that unfold and kind of impact her life, and it was a really good book. I enjoyed it. The first half was very slow, and then the second half was too fast. I was like, we got so much information about all of the kids she grew up with and the people in the town, and then when all of the things start happening at the end, I just wanted more information because a lot happens at the end of the book, and I feel like you're just kind of left like, okay, yeah, she did. I feel like it could have been expanded more at the end. I probably would give it like 4 out of 5 stars or 3.5 out of 5. And then the second book I read is called Vampires of El Norte, which is a historical fiction horror book, and there's like a romance plot line as well between the two main characters. And I loved this book. It was great. I don't usually like books, like horror books, and when I was telling people about it being called vampire, like about vampires, I was like, these are not Twilight vampires. These are scary, keep you up at night, bat creature vampires. So yeah, it's a super interesting book. Highly recommend. I would give it like 4.5 out of 5. I think it's really well paced, and I really enjoyed reading it. I hadn't read a book like that before, and so it really stuck with me, and I really liked it. So yeah, highly recommend. I've recommended it to a bunch of people who I know that like reading. So yeah, if you're looking for a new book, I think you should read it. Yeah, that is what I read this month. I guess I can talk a little bit about what my plans are for future knits. Maybe like spring knitting plans, but I don't know. I don't really knit spring and summer things to wear. I mostly just keep knitting whatever I want, because I don't really mind if I have to wait a season to wear it for when it's colder. That's fine with me. I just want to knit whatever I want to knit, I guess. Coming up next, what I want to cast on is the Humblebee shawl for my mom, which I had cast on previously and I ripped it out because I cast it on and I was like, oh, I knit this off gauge. It's like it's like too big of a needle. It was not. It was like, it was way too small. Like that is supposed to be knit on a 4mm needle, and I think I cast it on like a 2.5mm needle. So I don't know what was happening in my brain with that, but it got ripped out completely, and I will cast it on and get started on it. Hopefully in this coming month. I think once I clear the socks and the Amy sweater off the needles, then that will be the next thing that gets cast on. And then something that is on my like bingo card for the year is to knit color work. And so the project that I think I'm going to learn how to knit color work on is the Bifurca vest by Teddy Litzak. And I've had this pattern for a while and I tried to knit it. I cast it on and started doing the like raglan or like the increases for. It has a really interesting construction, which is another reason that I want to knit it, but the gauge was really off and I didn't know if I had enough yarn, so I ripped it out. And I made my son a sweater with that yarn, which I'm really glad that I decided to switch up that project. But yeah, I really want to knit up the Bifurca vest, and I have some fun color combinations I could do that do lean kind of more spring. So that'll be fun. I think I'm gonna maybe try and knit it in like the blue color with like a purple accent, or maybe a purple with like a white accent, or purple and like darker purple. I don't know yet, but that's something I am looking forward to cast on soon. Yeah, and that is what's coming up that I'm looking forward to knitting. But I think that's everything this month, other than we've been able to spend more time outside and get outside. I was able to plant some like cold weather crops in the garden and do a lot of weeding and clearing out brush from the garden, and so I'm looking forward to doing more yard work and spending more time outside as well, and knitting outside again. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I love sitting on the back porch and knitting, and so yeah, really looking forward to that. But that is everything that I have for my March knitting and I guess spinning recap. Yeah, if you want to leave me a comment, let me know what you're working on, what project you're working on. It doesn't have to be knitting. If you have any book recommendations, maybe books that are similar to Vampires of El Norte, if you've read it, I would love some recommendations. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Bye!